Good evening, boys and girls. Happy Friday. We made it to the end of another week. Football tomorrow. It's back. Can we win again? Can the Arsenal send another emphatic message to the league? Let's roll. Happy Friday.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Looks like it is au revoir to Pepe. We will get to the Friday Freestyle 5 agenda. Welcome to the show. Let me tell you something, kids. Just when you think you've ducked in and you're wondering, is he here? Is he not? Does my Friday get any better than this? Well, let me tell you something. It just did. Surprise! Yes!
Squaddy, Sophie, how you doing? Look who it is. I'm back early and I'm on. There you go. I got in around about just as you came on. I was digging in, trying to get in. But good to see you, Squaddies, at ease. And remember, after the salute, hit the like button. Nice and simple, please. Thank you.
100%. We have missed Super Kev this week on Wednesday's show. He is back tonight. Thank you, Super Kev. Boy, do you have a busy weekend. You're the Everton and Forest. When was the last time they played? 25 years ago in the Premier League? Wow.
Yeah, 25.
So, Kev, I did a show. We're doing some small vignette shows, 30 years of the Premier League. We did Thierry Henry, and I got a ton of messages, everyone asking me about what you think about Thierry Henry. And I'm like, come on, you know what Kev thinks about Thierry.
He's crap, isn't he? Of course he's crap. I mean, what else do you think? He's probably the greatest player, arguably, that ever graced the Premier League, and he's ours.
He's ours.
He's ours. You know, part of the Invincibles. Listen, he's the one player at the top of his game who is unplayable. You couldn't play him. No defense could stop him. Let's be brutally honest. At the top of his game, no defense could stop him. And when you watch some of the videos, he is taking the absolute mickey out of teams. He is, because he's just so good. He's so athletic. He's so quick, and he's so skillful. And he's ours. That's the other thing. He's ours.
Kev, one of the things I said, and a lot of people wanted your take on this real quick before we get stuck into the Freestyle Friday 5, is I think he should be in the conversation of the GOAT. A little bit like Zidane. They're not talked about as much. It's always Maradona, Pele, Ronaldo, Messi. Thierry won it all. He won it all.
So the only thing that he didn't cement was the Champions League.
Well, Barcelona.
Arsenal. No, but Arsenal.
Yeah.
You know, listen, he goes to Barcelona, and Messi's already there, so.
Yeah.
So Messi's gonna get all the headlines. But I know this much. If you ask any defender, who would you rather play against? Messi or Thierry Henry? I could tell you they're going to say I'd rather play against Messi. I at the top of their game, I'm telling you, they would rather play against Messi, not Thierry Henry, because that guy is a problem. Physically, athletically, mentally, he's a problem for any defense. So that goes to tell you something. But because Messi's done it for a certain amount of years, and he's got Champions League, and he's played with Xavi and Iniesta, must have been Ronaldinho. I mean, come on. I mean, that must be incredible.
And I get what you're saying about how to defend Messi versus Thierry Henry. Messi, though, even though he's small, Kev, his lower sense of gravity is insane. Kind of how he's been able to fend off defenders, and he got
Yeah,
kicked
but you
out.
know what, Soph? I'd much rather pit my wits as a defender against Messi because I could try and get physical with him, even though I know he's short and he'll go under your arm and all that kind of thing. At least you can put the body on him, slow him down. Thierry Henry, you couldn't catch him. You couldn't get near him. He was so strong. He was so quick. He was so direct. And he was strength. I mean, you just need to see some of the goals, don't you, yourself? I mean,
They're crazy, and they're all crazy. And look, the fact that one of the conversations on the show that we've got all these great players and they're part of Premier League history and our history is quite incredible. And by the way, Kev, I don't know if I mentioned this on Monday's show, but Nottingham Forest put out one of your hat tricks earlier this week.
So what was it? 25 years, wasn't it?
25. Kev,
25 years.
Let me tell you something, Super Kevin Campbell. Your first touch, insane. Left foot finishes, right foot finishes. I mean, and not just average goals. That hat trick was absolutely ridiculous. Do you remember it like it was yesterday?
I remember it, not like it was yesterday, but I remember it because obviously that was the first hat trick I got for Forest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So first game of the season as well. And if you remember on that day, me and Ravanelli scored a hat trick. Ravanelli was at Borough. He scored a hat trick and I scored a hat trick. And the Silver Fox, me and him shared the top spot in the goal scoring charts. And that was it for me. Because we went from bad to worse at Forest.
Your left foot. Did you feel your left foot was better than your right foot? Or were you just like, I don't care, I'm just going to score? I mean,
no,
it's just ridiculous.
I weren't left-footed, but I felt comfortable hitting it with my left. I mean, you see some of the goals I scored for Arsenal, shooting with my left, and some of them are the best goals I've scored.
Ridiculous.
There was one particular one against Crystal Palace at Highbury where the ball's got played into me and I've played it, I think it's into righty or smudger. I think it's righty. I played it into righty and he's looped it up and I've just hit it with my left foot and it's gone right in the top corner. And one against Chelsea where I was come off the bench, it was 2-2 at the time. I think we were 2-0 down. We came back, beaten 3-2. That was the winner. That was North Bank in front of North Bank. So that's why I'm here, Soph. It's the Highbury Squad. That's why I'm here.
I absolutely love it. GD saying it was like he was faster with the ball. I mean, Kev, and everyone's talking about the cricket celebration.
Yeah, we done 3 different celebrations. I think we done 3. One, I got injured. I think I got smashed by the goalkeeper. One was the cricket celebration, and the other one was, you remember David Pleat when he come running on the pitch for Luton?
God,
in that the cream suit with the cream shoes. So we done that. We used to do that quite a bit because the lads used to love it. So I wore my dad's suit into training one time. So and the lads were out training, and I had a pair of my dad's cream shoes on, cream suit, everything. God, and I came out and I was calling them from the dugout, and they were like, "Who's that?" And then I came running on the pitch, and you can imagine they were all over the place. So we said, we've got to do the celebration, and we did. We did it quite.
So good.
We actually did it quite a few times at Forest. We loved it. We loved it. And
brilliant
they said,
stuff.
when we had a fancy dress, they said, Cabs, you got to come in your dad's suit. So I did. It was brilliant. The lads
brilliant
loved it.
Stuff. I mean, Lone Star David Pleat used to just irritate me when he would commentate. I mean, he was such a Spurs homer, just one of those. But anyway, yes, let's talk about the now. But we love just touching on those things. And because it's 30 years of the Premier League, we're going to be talking a little bit about Kev's moments at
nostalgia.
Forest and Everton
Nostalgia.
and the nostalgia, because it's absolutely brilliant. By the way, Newman said, "Thank God Kev's here. There must be something wrong in the universe for him to actually."
I worry now.
Are you not concerned, Kev?
I worry. When Newman's nice to me, everybody be on guard, because it's either there's some art coming around somewhere, or
Maybe he'll do
I'm
art.
worried.
That's a challenge for him to do some art
Yeah,
on
art piece.
your
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Kev, it's a busy week. It's match day tomorrow. A lot going on. I've got 5 subjects here, and of course, everyone gets to ask you questions today. Kind of a mix of Kev Says and also
Funky
Freestyle Friday. Yeah, Funky
Freestyle
Friday.
Yep.
It looks like this fella is on his way out, Super Kev. I know that you and I, for a long time, have stood by him, and I think a lot of Arsenal fans wanted him to be a massive success at the club. Just want to read off, because my question today is, Kev, did he fail? By the way, don't forget our good friends at Zenith Coins. Oh my goodness. Kev and I looked at some stuff today. Wow. You want to know about the Highbury Squad coin that is coming, and it's collectible? It's so unique in so many different ways. Wait till you see it. Unbelievable stuff. Those guys over there are doing a great job, not only for our club as the licensed partner, but also for a number of great clubs. An amazing brand doing great things. 200 of you in live chat this fine Friday. Don't upset Kev. He's here. We're lucky he's here. He's got a shit ton of stuff going on. So we're lucky we have him here. But Kev, did Nicolas Pépé fail, or did Arsenal fail Nicolas Pépé? And I'm going to give some stats here, right?
Mhm.
He had 80 appearances in the Premier League, scored 16 goals, 37 wins, and 25 losses. I think we would all agree that the 2021 season was probably his best. He had 29 matches. He scored 10 goals, 1 assist. Ironically, in the season that Mikel Arteta arrived. And I think we would all agree that the combination and the hope that we had for the trio, that was these three, was something that we were super excited about. When he had arrived in his first season, he had scored 23 goals for Lille. Aubameyang had just scored 31 goals, and Lacazette had scored 19. So between the three of them, before he arrived, it was 73. And everyone was so excited about, my goodness, could this be the best front three that Arsenal have seen in a long time? They gelled together. They played beautiful football together. We won a FA Cup with them, Kev.
Yeah.
Did he fail at Arsenal, or did Arsenal fail him?
I don't think he failed at Arsenal, and I don't think Arsenal failed him either, Sophie. I just think the style of the Premier League and the speed of the Premier League surprised him. The intensity of it surprised him. And it took him a little while to find his feet. I don't think his talent was ever questioned, so I don't think anybody questioned his talent. But there's two sides to the game. There's with the ball and without the ball. And the demands on players without the ball don't forget, he's technically had 3 managers since he's been at the club. So Unai Emery would ask him to do something. The Mashat's right here, by the way. Then obviously Freddie took over for a little, and then Mikel Arteta came in. And look, Mikel Arteta, at the end of the day, he's come in and listen, we've battled with squaddies on here, Sophie, of what his job was to do. He couldn't concentrate on Pepe alone. He had to concentrate on turning this juggernaut of a ship, rudderless ship, round and getting it sorted out. So the demands on the players had to go from here to there. and it was see who could sink and swim. Pepe never failed because he helped us win a trophy. So, silverware, he helped us win a trophy. Did Arsenal fail him? No, because Arsenal gave him the platform to be able to do that. Arsenal paid the money for him. So Arsenal's not failing him. But do you know what is the defining factor as far as I'm concerned, Sophie? It is the circumstance of where Arsenal Football Club found themselves. Sometimes the timing is all wrong, Soph. And I just think the timing for Pepe was all wrong. Because if Arsenal were doing great and you bring a Pepe in, I think he would do better. But we weren't in great shape. We weren't in great shape.
So, you know, this conversation right now, Kev, about how, you know, we're looking for that winger, right? Let's just wipe the slate clean. And if we're thinking, forget about the fact that Emery wanted Zaha and he ended up with Pepe. We could talk about that ad nauseum, and we have on the show. Let's say this is Arteta. This is Arteta's Arsenal, of course. Would he fit in now? Forget the price tags, which I think was a massive burden to come in as, with all the legends that have come before him, to come in under that price tag, which is not his fault, and it's never any player's fault. It's not Ben White's fault either. And Cairo and a lot of people have said the price tag buried him.
A lot of expectation, Cairo, isn't it? It's a lot of expectation.
Would you be excited if he was signing now, knowing what we need potentially?
I wouldn't sign him. That's the problem, Soph.
Because of what you just said about.
Yeah, because of the second part of two parts of football. One is with the ball, one is without the ball. If you can't graft without the ball, Mikel Arteta will not take you. He will not.
So the reason why I have a double-barreled question is Richard brings up my next point. Do you think he got a fair crack at the whip, knowing the season that he had in 2021? And then, you know, and let me read this to you, you guys, right? So in Europa League in 1920, he played 6 matches, 2 goals. In 2021, he played 13 matches. He scored six goals in the Europa League. In the EFL Cup in 2021, 3 games, no goals, no assists. 21-22, 3 matches, 2 goals, 4 assists. Premier League, I gave you all the stats. You know those. Did the Willian signing kill him completely, Kev? And the consistent Arteta putting Willian before him, and you don't think that?
No, I don't think it killed it. Look, at the end of the day, Mikel Arteta demands the work from the wide player. Pepe, that's never been part of Pepe's game. Do you remember I was saying to you, I think it was it last season or season before, when I was saying Pepe was doing extra work on the training ground?
Yeah, it was
to get himself to try and get himself up to speed. Unfortunately, Sophie, we can't say Pepe never got opportunities to play, because we know when players get opportunities to play, you've got to take it. We've even said that about young Martinelli. You know, when he gets his chance, he's got to take it. Pepe has got unbelievable ability. But unfortunately, so one sec. But unfortunately, he just don't fit the English style. Maybe if he goes to a different team who play a different way, he might be able to get away with it. But unfortunately, you could see what Mikel Arteta's trying to do now with the intensity of the team, etc. You can't have anybody walking. You can't have anybody not doing the other part of the game, because you're only as strong as your weakest link. So if he won't do that, then the opposition will just keep coming down and making 2v1s on the outside and kill you.
Yeah, and I think Bonzo brings up a good point. At the time, I felt like we had a few of these. I don't know if he was not a team player. He played like an individual, because if there's one thing you can say about Pepe, Kev, is that despite the challenges he faced, he never badmouthed the club.
No.
He didn't go off doing sidebar interviews talking about what was going on. Maybe he didn't put his head down enough in that season where you were impressed that he was staying behind and doing the extra work. And like you say, sometimes the extra work just isn't enough if you're not suited to something. And if he's going back to Nice, which of course, you know, these are the stories, and there's not been an official from the club yet, but wow, talk about that Nice team. It's ex-Arsenal players.
Ex-Arsenal
But
boys, yeah.
but also, you know, you got Schmeichel there now, you've got Rambo there, you've got Pepe, and I think maybe that's his speed, and that's okay for that to be your speed. Um, but I think because he came at such a high price, and like a few of the squaddies have said in chat, Kev, you know, Raul lost his job based on that being one of the biggest failures of all. Not only the manner in which he did the deal, but his own dealings.
Yeah,
And
there was
I
some
still
sticky
also think,
fingers somewhere, weren't there?
how do you explain this to me, Kev, then? So in that season where these three just kind of hit it off and we won the FA Cup,
Cup team.
and so
Cup
it
team.
goes back to us talking about us being a cup team at the time
Cup.
versus a Premier League team over 38 games.
Sophie, our biggest problem has been consistency.
Mhm.
We know Laka could score goals. We know Aubameyang could score goals. We know Pepe has unbelievable talent. But to do it on a consistent basis, we saw it in the FA Cup, but we haven't seen it week in, week out in the Premier League. Aubameyang's done it individually. Lacazette's helped him, been a good, second guy over time. But to do it consistently to how we see Man City doing it and we see Liverpool doing it, we've been nowhere near so.
Right.
And that's the level. Whether we like it or not, that is the level. And we know what it looks like.
Right.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, exactly. Jamal, a lot of people talking about this. You know what? That's his speed too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not
We've had
compare.
Lacazette, Jamal. We've had Lacazette.
I mean,
He played
do you
most of
want
the
to go
games
back
last
there?
season.
Yeah, come on. It's not like he didn't get a chance. You know, that's the level exactly, Thibaut. And look, we love Laka. Laka was a you can see
Great
in All
servant.
or Nothing as well. Absolutely.
Great
And
guy,
big
great servant to the
classy
Arsenal.
guy, Kev. Classy player.
Class act. But
Exactly.
the Premier League, and this is what people have to understand, the Premier League is like no other. It is like no other. There is so much demand, and it's so much tougher, it's so much more physical, it's so much faster than a lot of the other leagues. And hey, the other leagues have got quality. I'm not saying they haven't.
Mm-hmm.
But you find it harder for people from other leagues to come to the Premier League than you find it, Premier League going maybe there. Because there's a certain adaptation that you have to do. Players for big money come over here. And
I mean, Kev,
there has to be a transition. Yeah.
Kev, what you're saying right now, look at Manchester United, Paul Pogba. You know, you look at Sancho. You look at, you know, even Ronaldo in this current team. Yeah, he's an aging player, but he's still
But he
a
done the
great
business.
player.
I mean, he done the business for them last
Look at
season.
Lukaku, Kev, struggling, going to Chelsea.
Again, Soph, something just don't work out for him at Chelsea. It just don't work out for him, and he'll go and he'll play it into, and he'll have a great season. Manchester United are, the squad is so imbalanced. They lack heart. They lack that togetherness in the dressing room. Everything that we were 2 years ago, Soph. Everything that we were, that's Manchester United now. Casemiro, we know what a great player he is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know what a great player is, but is he going to make the difference?
Yeah, Di Maria is a great example. What about Veron? I mean, we could go down. Look at Torres when he went from Liverpool to Chelsea. Shevchenko. I mean, it's not easy,
It's
and
not a given. Yeah.
it's not a given. And it's the same with. I feel that way sometimes about quarterbacks, Kev, that shine at college, and then you go into a team, and if you don't have the cast around you to succeed, it's not that
So,
easy.
so if you're a good or great college quarterback, you come into an NFL franchise, and your offensive line isn't good, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. Another good
'Cause that,
example from Demsek Sanchez.
yeah,
Yep.
that protection that
Mhm.
quarterback needs to then get his reads and stuff is like a defense. A defense need protecting. And that's why
So
the engine room is so important. That's why do you reckon we are desperate to try and get more midfielders into our club? So because we know if anybody gets injured or we have to change it, we've normally been weak.
mhm.
We need it super strong.
Yeah, Guna works. Johnny Manziel's a great example. Look at Matt Leinart. He was a superstar at USC. Look at who was the quarterback that beat Matt Leinart in the championship. Oh my God. Oh, having a brain fart. He stopped them from doing the three-peat and he went to, I'll get it. He beat USC in the Rose Bowl in the championship game at the Rose Bowl where USC was supposed to have. Anyway, I digress, but it will come to me. Not Young, Vince Young.
Vince Young,
Vince Young? Yeah,
who
Vince
went
Young.
he went to
Was it not Tennessee, was
yeah,
it, Kev?
Tennessee
No.
Titans. Yeah, yeah, Vince
Yeah,
Young, Tennessee Titans. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, crazy stuff. Thank you so much, Vince Young. They're coming in thick and fast. Texas. That was an
yeah.
amazing final. Holy cow, that was brilliant. Anyway, so Kev, we roll on with our Freestyle Friday 5 because they're intertwined. These next subjects. So one of my 5 is the squad, the starting 11 versus the bench, and it rolls off from Pepe. We're looking for that attacking winger. We're looking to bolster the squad. Uh, do you think that him leaving leaves us weak, or do we have ready-made fill-ins, i.e., can Fabio Vieira operate in that position? Can Emil Smith Rowe step up and is a ready-made player to come into those wide positions? Um, can you see us going in for Neto? I don't think the Pino thing's going to happen. But the starting 11 versus the bench, there's been this whole rhetoric over this week and last week about whether or not we're prepared for injuries. If you looked at our bench last week, I think it was a lot stronger than even week one. And maybe this is a bit of a fallacy in terms of us being weaker. But what's your take on losing Pepe? I don't think is that much of a loss because he really wasn't contributing and part of the squad. So, do we have ready-made players who can come in based on those players I've talked about, or do you think we still need to strengthen? Is that going to be a weak spot for us?
I don't think it'd be a weak spot because I think Vieira can play there. Marquinhos, who's
Oh
done
yeah,
really well in
right.
in the in the reserves and really shone. Rumor has it Mikel Arteta's come out and said he's going nowhere. He's going to be involved. He's played first team football. He's lively. So, might as well have him on the bench. Let the fans see him. Let's have a look because you know what? You might just get a surprise. But I still think, Sophie, we have to strengthen because there will be injuries. We know there will be injuries, center of the pitch or wide. So we're going to have to prepare. Exactly what we didn't do in January. If we covered all the bases now, that should see us right up until New Year. And then we take a stock of our squad then.
Fabio Vieira is someone that he talked about in the press conference today, said that he's ready to go. Like you said, Marquinhos has been doing great in the reserves, scored 2 headed goals last week. He did not travel with the squad, so perhaps he's saving him. I think this is going to be the one. I think that there's a trump card to be played here, Kev. And when you look at the money that I think was being discussed for Pino, it just seems to get a little bit ridiculous. And I kind of do respect the fact that we're not willing to go there and just throw the kitchen sink at something that might seem like a desperate, like Man United now, Casemiro, that's desperate money. Anthony, that's desperate money. You know, if there's one thing I do respect about how we're doing business is that we're not willing to do the Pepe desperate money anymore, and we've learned from those mistakes. Look at the deal
Martinez.
for Jesus. Yeah.
Martinez went from 25, 35 million. United paid 50 odd million, nearly 60 million. It's madness. But teams want Arsenal to get into an auction. And we're not playing that game. I like it. Just like you, I like it.
Yes, I did, because I watch a lot of the under 23 World Cups, European Championship competitions. Was I an expert? No. But did I enjoy watching him play when I did? He captained the Portugal side that won, I think it was the European Championships. You listen to what Emil Smith Rowe says about him, having played against him at that level, tells you everything. So I'm not going to sit here and profess to be an absolute expert, but is he a player that in that Portuguese talent pool right now, whether it's at senior level or the next level, Kev, they've got a lot of talent. They've been a lot of fun to watch. And here's the thing that we don't do on this show. We don't profess to be experts on all these different players. We bring experts in to talk to us about them. But when you look at the type of team that we want to become, I mean, he could be his Bernardo or David Silva, Kev, that versatility. Do you agree with that, and how he's thinking in terms of what he experienced at Manchester City and having those specialists, but who can be hybrid?
Unlock. You can play him 10. You can play him any side. These are the type of guys, Sophie. They're the difference makers. And I'll tell you this much: if he comes on the pitch on Saturday, you watch Jesus, you watch Martinelli, because they're going to get their skates on, because this guy can pick a pass. And he can pick a pass from deep. He can pick a pass in and around the box. He's another creative player who he's happy to shoot, or he's happy to slide somebody in, slip somebody in, knock somebody in over the top. He's got that type of vision. And I know as a striker, when you're playing with a player like that, you don't get tired. So I tell you, you don't, because you know they're going to find you. Brilliant. Good player.
So Kev, Neto, Tielemans, if we walk away, this subject, so we've gone from Pepe to the starting 11 to the bench, you guys, if we end up in this window with no more signings, what's your take?
If we end up with no more signings, I'll still be happy, Sophie. Would I be a little bit wishing we'd sign more? Of course. You know me, I want 4 more. Not going to happen. 2 more, I'll accept. But if we get none, it's still been a really good window because we've done our business so early. Mm-hmm. But I still would want us to stack them up. Stack them up. Yeah. Because if we stack up our talent, Soph, that means we're ready for the season. We are ready for the season. So I want us ready for the season.
Okay, so when we talk about the bench and the backup players, I've got this picture up, not for Rambo and Ben White though, but you got Tommy, Ben White, you got the Tierney thing, you've got Emil Smith Rowe here as well, Kev, and of course you've got Eddie, who I think is a fall off from Jesus. God forbid if something happened to Gabriel Jesus. But what's your take on those types of players? You know, we're going to talk about Bournemouth towards the end of the show. But what's your take on? To me, the bench seems stronger this year because some of the bench are the players that started last year.
Exactly. Exactly. Look, I think investing the money in Eddie, there's going to be times where Eddie's going to start, especially Europe or whatever, cup games. So we've got to give him, listen, the manager's backed him. He looked really sharp. We've got to say he's looked really sharp in pre-season, etc. And he's coming to the season. When he's come on, he's looked lively. We know it is a fall-off. He's not a Jesus. And I think Jesus has surprised quite a few Gooners. So how good he really is. Because his all-round game is excellent. His all-round game is better than Eddie's. So, but we've seen, if the team's playing with confidence, so we've seen Eddie do all right up top. So if we have to wrap Jesus in cotton wool 1 week, that's what we got to do. As long as we got the other pieces that can create and open up things, and we're playing at a good consistency, we'll be all right. It's that midfield that I worry about, so I don't think we can afford too many injuries in that midfield. Partey, obviously, we know usually when he's not there, everything else is a downgrade. But I think even the way Granit Xhaka's been playing, so you know, he's being allowed, because of what Zinchenko does, he's being allowed to get into the box, to break into the box. He's in the box. He's having assists and he's scoring goals. I've never seen this out of Granit Xhaka in my life. So, again, that tweak to what we do is making the team not only better, but it's making us more progressive. It's making us more aggressive against the opposition, attack-wise. You know, do we have another player who can do what Granit Xhaka does? And it's weird we say that, but we don't.
I know. And I love that scene, and we're going to get to All or Nothing at the end as well, but where Sambi is probably the one player that came across as a bit of a sourpuss, but in a good
But
way.
he wants to play. He wants to
I want
play.
to play. And then Eddie's like, dude.
Eddie straightened him out.
And then you're right, because I want you to explain something to me too, Kev, because the fact that Xhaka's playing the way he is, and maybe this is what Arteta wanted to have the supporting cast, there's no way he could have played this role. This is why when people talk to me about Tierney versus Zinchenko, I want people to understand, and you can explain it a lot better than me. And I'm just seeing it. I'm not a tactical genius. But Xhaka can't play that role, I don't think, when Tierney's in the team, because he would have played it last season. Can you explain to me how their movement works and what that is? Because he goes, one covers, Xhaka moves, Zinchenko allows him to do his bit. This is why I don't think Tierney starts if Zinchenko's fit.
Well, here's the key to it also. And by the time I finish, you'll be able to explain it yourself.
Okay.
So, how Tierney plays, Tierney's a natural left back. He plays up and down the line. Okay? He'll get the ball, he'll give it, and you know, he will push up the line and he'll support from there, and he'll go beyond if he has to. We've seen him score goals from there, which is, great, up and down.
Mm-hmm.
The difference with what Nicolas Pépé wants, there's times where you're going to be able to go all the way. But generally, what happens is, as we build the attack, he wants the fullback to come into midfield where Xhaka usually is. So Zinchenko's a lot more comfortable in there because he's played midfield. He plays midfield. He's captain of his national side. He's comfortable to go in there and to have the space behind him. He hasn't got no fear because he can play either position as well. So as Zinchenko pushes into the midfield, that gives the trigger for Granit Xhaka to see where Martinelli is, where's Jesus, and then he will take his position from those two. And that's why, if you notice, when Granit Xhaka has been getting into the box, Jesus has been getting the ball wide. He cuts in and he starts playing balls into Xhaka or Martinelli. The ball ends up at Xhaka's feet. He plays it back to him and he bends one in the top corner. That's with our centre forward being left. But none of that happens without Zinchenko sitting in that midfield. None of it happens. And it's very difficult to stop, Soph. Very difficult to stop. Because I'll tell you why it's difficult to stop. When Martinelli comes in and starts playing striker, you have to account for him. All of a sudden, you don't expect Granit Xhaka to be making that run. Now, you have to try and account for him. But here's the one thing they can't account for. There's a striker who can play wide with striker strength and power against a fullback. That's why he can get it down, he can play it in, and he can follow his pass and run inside because the fullback can't live with him. They can't live with Jesus. So when he does get in the box, he's seeing everything. But as I said, none of that happens without Zinchenko.
Kev, can you also explain to me, when you're in training, it went viral this week, the drill where they're all dribbling, they have to do keepy-uppy from one end of the pitch to the other. And Zinchenko was like Usain Bolt with the ball.
He just let it gone. He was gone. He was gone. But that's, so there's always certain sessions that you do, Soph, to work on your technique. To make it better. You know, it's a laugh and joke, but it's working on your technique constantly. Because this is the type of thing, if you're going to be at Arsenal now, not only do you have to play with intensity, you're going to have to play with a technical competence. That's for sure. Zinchenko, he was gone. So he was gone. He was virtually sprinting with the ball. Dup, 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 dup. He was gone. Left everybody behind. Technically, as I don't know if you've even heard at Man City, they were saying him and Bernardo Silva technically are the best at City. And we would say, what about De Bruyne? And they were like, no, these two. So that technical ability that Zinchenko possesses, so makes us a better team already. And there's going to be times where Kieran Tierney will play. No problem. And we still will be good. But watch Granit Xhaka when Kieran Tierney plays. He won't be, because we've seen it, he won't be as far forward as he is now, that's for sure. No.
And we've seen that movie, and we kind of know how it ends, don't we, Kev?
Yes.
And that was the discussion that we were having with Jordan, where, you know, on Monday, where he was saying we were going too hot too soon on Zinchenko. But you've just so eloquently explained, even though I see it, there's the intricacies of the tactical side that I need a little help with understanding. Like, why is that happening now, and how is it happening now?
Why is Granit? Yeah, why is Granit in the box? Why is Granit in the box so much now? What? How? Why does Granit appear in the box when Jesus is wide? Because that's a trigger. That's a trigger for him to go. Zinchenko's not there. Okay, he goes. So Martinelli runs inside. Okay, Jesus goes wide. Now there's a gap. Granit Xhaka, come on, midfielder, chase me. And the midfielder's not going to want to chase him all game. No chance. And he gets in the box so many times, he sets one up and scores one.
Now, the other thing I think that everyone needs, and Ayush, I love this. He's up at 1:15 a.m. because of Super Kev. We love that.
Yes. Thank you, Ayush.
And thanks to all 400 of you in live chat right now who have joined the Highbury Squad this fine Friday. Our Chief Like Officer, Tammy, in the house. Get the troops riled up. Let's get those likes in. It helps the channel, of course, and we'll bring out Vinny, who missed his dicky bow yesterday. Uncle Kev wasn't here. And Vesper saving like Ramsdale on a good day right there
Love it.
too.
Love it.
But Kev, I guess the other thing too, when I'm asking the question as part of our Friday Freestyle 5 is we're not going to be able to play like that every game. And you alluded to that a little bit. For example, Bournemouth tomorrow, as we shift into it a little bit, but there's other things we're going to talk about. Is a Bournemouth the type of game where you bring in a Tierney and you rest Zinchenko, or do you go in for the kill,
No, we
get
gotta
the
go
goal
for the kill.
difference up?
No, we got to go for the kill, because what we're going to say to ourselves is we're going to dominate the ball. And if we're going to dominate the ball, we're going to have to ask them a lot of questions, because they're going to feel we can just sit, we can bank up and look to catch Arsenal on the counter attack. No, that's old Arsenal. What's going to happen is we're going to have more players in the box that are going to keep your guys back. So you're not even going to be thinking of breaking. And that's what happens that's why we got to take it to them, take the lead, and then they have to adjust. When they adjust, there's more room. But you need Zinchenko in that midfield. So when things pop out, he's got that midfielder's mindset, get on it, technique enough to get around people and keep the ball moving.
So it's almost like he's playing this triple role that Arteta trusts.
Yeah,
It's inverted, it's traditional at times.
Yeah.
But
and he overlaps at times.
Overlap, yeah.
Yeah. Because you'll watch Zinchenko running with the ball is very good. As you know, even the juggling with the ball, running with the ball, keeping the ball is very, very good. So that gets us up the pitch. That gets us deep into opposition territory. And he's not afraid to take it, give it, and then retreat. So when he retreats, his guy sometimes who followed him switches off. And then when he retreats, Martinelli moves, Jesus moves, Xhaka moves. It's hard to defend, Soph. And that's what we want. We want it to be hard to defend.
Would you say that... Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know this Bournemouth team as well as I did when they were in the Premier League under Scott Parker. It's definitely different. They've definitely been, refreshed and rebooted. They did well against Aston Villa, but to be honest, I don't
Villa
think anything.
turn up. Villa didn't turn up, so
they didn't care.
They didn't turn up.
You know, they should be the Bournemouth side, but do you also feel like this game that we need is a game that maybe the Arsenal would walk a little bit arrogant and thinking deal versus maybe Arteta walking there? These are the games where you need to be even more laser focused. Because I put down, it's not a banana skin game, but it's the kind of game going in maybe too confident, too that it's already done.
Hi, Soph, you freeze it a little bit. Don't know if you could hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Keep going.
Soph, I think you got it right. First time, it is a banana skin game. Because you know what, Sophie? If the attitude is not spot on, Arsenal will come unstuck. They're at home. They've got the home crowd. Who knows what the referee's going to be? What the referee's going to be like? Who is going to be and what he's going to be like? So if you don't approach it in the right way, Sophie, these games become banana skin games. And at 1 minute you find yourself a goal down before you blink, like Villa. They went there, they find themselves a goal down early. Sometimes it's a mountain to climb if the attitude is not right. I think this Arsenal squad will have the right attitude. I do, because I think they're building something. Consistently, they've been okay, even through pre-season. We've seen it, Soph. Consistently, they've been all right. So I expect them to turn up. And if Arsenal turn up, like we know they can, Arsenal will win the game. But if there's any complacency, Sophie, anything at all, it could be a banana skin game. But I don't expect it to be.
Yeah. Am I back, by the way, Kev? Can you see
Yeah.
me and hear
Yeah,
me
you're
clearly
fine.
now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're fine.
There's some work going on in the neighborhood, so please forgive me. I've hardwired in now, so we shouldn't have any problems. And you answered that. You picked up on all my points. See, even when I freeze in time, Kev knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's just a beautiful thing. And also, I think Solanke's still out for tomorrow, and a few of the squaddies are mentioning that too. But yeah, these are the kinds of games in the past where we've been complacent. And Kev, it's not the too distant past. Crystal Palace away, Southampton away, Brighton at home. Have we learned from these horrific performances and moments? And can we rectify them and make sure that we're more mentally engaged and that we're not taking it all for granted? Because it wasn't too long ago where we blew up.
I think Sophie, that's a good point. I think, Sophie, this is what we're really, the key is this is what we're going to find out. You know, we found out first game of the season at Crystal Palace that our team are happy to dig in. They're happy to grind it out at a difficult away ground. That's what we know. Now, Crystal Palace hurt us last season, big time. Now it's an unknown. It's a team who's just come up from the championship. You know, they came up automatically. A lot of the players won't know a lot of their players. What's your attitude like? Our attitude, Bonzo, is spot on and must be spot on tomorrow. Because you know what? It has to be the same. And we're going to have our tough games, so for sure we will. But our attitude has to be the same in every game. We've got to go out to dominate and win the game and put the opposition under pressure. That's what we've got to do. Yeah, we rectified one, Stephen. One game at Palace. Now we need consistency. I keep saying it. I probably drove you squaddies mad. I know I drove Sophie mad. When that team crossed that white line, we've got to be able to trust them that their attitude's going to be right. We've got to trust them. Because, you know, one of the questions is all or nothing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're going to get to that.
Yeah, that's next.
But with them crossing the white line and delivering for us, Sophie, do you remember I asked you the question when you used to go to Highbury? You used to turn up with a swagger. Why do you reckon you turned up with a swagger, Soph? Because you trusted what's on the pitch.
Yep.
You trusted it big time.
I used to bet on games then, and I don't bet on games ever.
Exactly. you bet, and you know what? Sometimes you lost, but it didn't matter because the majority of the time you won. Why? Because you trusted what was coming down that tunnel and crossing that white line. And that we haven't had that for years, so.
No, and that's coming up a lot with Manchester United now too, Kev. Rio Ferdinand's been talking about this. You know, Gary Neville and his tears, by the way, taste so sweet. I love it.
Has he replied to you yet, sir?
No, he's not. I'm going to write him every week until he replies to me. And, you know, the same thing with Manchester United. You look across and you see Roy Keane and you see Vidic and Ferdinand and you see all those players.
Scholes,
you know,
and Van Nistelrooy and all these guys.
And then you look at the Arsenal team. You know, it's like there's Wrighty, there's Adams, there's Dixon, there's Seaman, and then you go to the Invincibles team. My goodness, you see those boys, and then you go to like Shamak and Gervinho, who respectfully had a good career after in Serie A.
It was all right. It was all right. It was all right, but it's not the same, is it?
Mm-hmm.
The fear factor isn't there. And that's, I think we discussed this last season. we're going away from home. We want to punch people in the mouth. So,
Yeah.
and then when they want to come back for more, we got to smash them up again. That's all part of being the Arsenal. We go places and we dominate. But to be able to dominate, you've got to be consistent. And we haven't been consistent. That's been our biggest problem.
And we've seen it, and we've seen the pain in the show. And that, Kev, brings us swiftly to our fourth point, because get your questions in right now. We're going to have an extra few minutes. I'm going to bust through the all or nothing bit, because let me tell you something. I'm tired of talking about this show. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of over it. Episode 8 was absolutely brutal to watch. I'm not going to lie. I fast forwarded through the Tottenham match bits. Didn't want to see it. Didn't want to hear what was being said. I lived it, as you guys know, watching in a Tottenham pub in the middle of Cyprus somewhere, which was just beyond painful. Episode 7 was also painful. However, it got a little bit better with the West Ham win, Kev, the 4-2 against Chelsea. Notice there was no post-game dressing room footage of the Southampton loss.
No chance. There were probably cups flying and everything.
I stand by what I said. I believe this should have just been called the Mikel Arteta show. Look, all these rumors and these stories and about him not wanting to give camera interviews and not wanting, the dude loved the camera. And hear me out. I'm not ragging on him. This is not me being negative. He just loved being the main man. All right. And as a manager of a top shelf football club, you got to be a little bit self-centered. You got to love yourself a little bit. And he came across to me as someone who loves the sound of his voice. Now, Kev, let me just throw this stuff at you, right? Some great bits. I know now why he likes to have a younger team, because that megalomaniac part of him can control that younger team. There was a little bit too much animation in your face. As a player, I'd love your take on that. You could see sometimes with some of the senior players, the kind of the smirks and stuff. Is there a reason why it didn't work out with Aubameyang and Lacazette left and Pepe's going? And you have this young squad that just soak it up. I understand culturally it's easier to use a light bulb as an example rather than say something. Although bringing out a light bulb, crazy shit happens. I've been part of leadership groups where leaders do the most insane, crazy things, right? I loved Saka. I thought he came across as an absolute darling and someone who loves the club. Ramsdale, Tierney, Holding. I thought everyone else, Xhaka, I'm sorry, but if you didn't think Xhaka was the leader of this team, then I hope this show proved that he is, and there's a reason why he is. And the Odegaard captain appointment, I think there's only a matter of time before Xhaka takes over the armband again. Odegaard didn't say one thing in this show, and I love him. I think he's brilliant. And you can be a silent leader. Totally get that. But knowing that he was the future, the fact that he didn't say one thing, even Sambi spoke, even Nuno spoke. I'm floored that they didn't push him forward a little bit more. Right. I also think that some of Arteta's methods are brilliant, and I also think that some of them are questionable. However, he's got total control of this team, and that's what you want from the manager. I thought Adu came across brilliantly. Loved him. I thought Josh appearing in episode 1 and the last episode just reinforcing, hey, we got this guy's back. Kev, I do think that part of it, you can see why some people like Arteta and don't like Arteta, right? The Nuno bit in his face, I didn't see him do that with any other player. I thought that was bordering on bullying a little bit with Nuno. But you've seen managers grab players by the throat and do all sorts of things. But I didn't see him do that. I felt like that was a justification as to why Nuno has been treated the way he's been treated. So I've got some highs and I've got some lows. I'm just happy it's over. What's your take?
I think it was a really good insight. Sometimes managers do things for a reaction from a player because, I think it was early on in the show. They were talking, and it was like, he's really quiet, doesn't say much, and the player guy sat him down and was speaking to him about how things were and stuff like that. And I've seen George. George has done it to me, gone for me, because he wants a reaction. So this is Arsenal first team we're talking about. This isn't the reserves. This isn't the youth team. This is the first team, where you've got to be at it. Because you know what, Sophie? Us fans, we don't want to know whether you've had a Barney with your missus. We don't want to know anything about what's going on off the pitch. You're fit to play. You cross that white line. You perform. That's the way it is. That is the way it is. And yeah, understanding what happens behind the scenes, I'm pleased. A lot of Arsenal fans said it. You mentioned about not covering Odegaard. You can't cover everybody. You know what I mean? You couldn't cover everybody. And maybe there was footage of Odegaard, but it was more appealing to have Tavares and, a lot of Mikel, obviously. Mikel's trying to change our culture. So we're seeing it. You could see what he's trying to do. He gets frustrated at times. Of course he does. He gets frustrated because he knows the guys have the talent. But playing for that with that gun on your chest, Sophie. You see Nuno Tavares go to Marseille, and he's doing it at Marseille. But when you got that gun on your chest, trust me, it's a lot more difficult to do it with that gun, with that cannon on your chest. So I understand what you say about, it borders on bullying. Sometimes it comes across that way. It can feel like that. It can. But you know what, Sophie? You're paid to deal with that. You're paid to accept it, because there's no way you're going to turn around. I didn't do well. I didn't play well this week, so I'm going to leave money behind. I'm not going to pick up all my wages. I want it all. So if you're not doing so well, you just got to take it and crack on with it. I thought it was a good look behind the scenes, and the way it finished was painful for us. But I think now, because we're looking back, Sophie, you can actually see the jigsaw pieces going in, can't you? You could see this is what we lacked, so this is what we're going to go for. And we've put a few more jigsaw pieces in, and we're looking a little better now. Actually, we're looking a lot better, because Jesus is a lot better than most people thought.
Yeah. I just find it really interesting, some of the comments as well that are coming back, where I said bordering on bullying. Now, in today's world, the way Kev and I grew up, trust me,
nothing. That's nothing. Yeah.
All right. And that comes from parenting and being in a professional setting. The generation of today, and we have a lot of millennials and Generation Zs that listen to the show, you can't do some of the things that when I first got my job in the film industry, directors and producers, trust me, they can't get away with that stuff. And you're seeing that. So accept kind of what I'm trying to say based on the environment and culture of today.
Yeah.
And I think it underlined a little bit of how he treats certain players versus other players. Now, I've also said that he needs to build a team in his image. And this is his image. And very much so, it felt like he is the school of Pep Guardiola, Kev. 100%. If you go, I had on one TV, the Man City show, and on the other TV, the Arsenal show, and a dressing room talk from Pep. And he's even taken on the way he moves his legs, his arms, everything. He's a disciple of Pep Guardiola.
But the message is the same, isn't
it?
If
he has the same success as Pep Guardiola, do I care? No, because my team wins. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate and respect what he's doing, but that doesn't mean I have to like him.
No, of course you don't.
I've respected people I've worked with over the years, but I haven't really liked them very much, Kev.
Mm.
And for me, there's just something about him that is a little unlikable. That's just me.
That's
Doesn't mean
fine.
I don't think he's doing a great job with the squad and we haven't gone up to the.
That's
Doesn't
all
mean any of
right.
that.
Don't worry about all that. It's your opinion. It's your opinion and how you feel. That's it. No problem. No problem whatsoever.
There's
Everybody can't play the violin for you. You know
no,
what I mean?
and maybe it's because I feel like he's there's arrogant Klopp. Like today, Klopp talking about mentioning Gabby Agbon Lahore and Talksport. Is he already rattled or what,
Yes.
Kev?
Yes, of course he is. Because the flag's flying now. Look, hey, let's be honest, Sophie. If Manchester United beat them on Monday, Man United are above them. Do you know what I mean? This is for somebody like Klopp. Already you're at a deficit to Man City. You know, you don't want to give them a head start because they're not going to mess about like they did last season and make it chew away at a 14-point gap. It's not happening. So, you know, it's Klopp's rattled. I love it.
He is. And and I guess that I accept arrogance. Like even Conte, he's won at the highest level. And Ancelotti is trust me, I've interviewed him, I've been in he is understated arrogant. He comes across as a teddy bear with a shotgun, that one. Let me tell you, the dude is arrogant.
Ruthless.
Tuchel, arrogant. He has that soft voice in his press conferences and stuff. Arrogant, but they've all won. And so I guess Arteta comes across as a little arrogant and he hasn't won a lot yet, but he's been part of an establishment that has won at the highest level. Therefore, he's inherited that tone and that personality.
That winning way. It's that winning way.
Which I think is a good thing for the club. Listen, I love watching Tom Cruise movies. I don't really like him as a person. To me, he's part of an organization that is questionable. I can watch movies and appreciate music from people, don't necessarily have to like them. So, I just find that really interesting. Now, inject this, everyone, and then I'll get a few questions up for Kev real quick before we go. For me, the star of All or Nothing, they wanted it to be the PR was Mikel Arteta. A lot of you have ridiculed him, called him out, wanted him out. He's failed you. He's won you over. He's failed you again. He's won you over. The one who showed passion and care and conflict and all of those things. I actually think now Super Kev wouldn't mind if this guy was in the dressing room with him. He would accept him as a teammate, not necessarily agree with all of the decisions he's made and how he's played. But I think the one thing that's come out of this show is maybe going to have some Arsenal fans thinking a little bit differently about Granit Xhaka. Kev, have I gone absolutely crazy?
I don't think you have. I think he's committed. He's proven he's committed. And I think we get frustrated with Granit Xhaka a lot because some of the things he's done have cost us. But you know what, Soph? You know, when you watch and you listen to him and you see what happens on the inside, he's highly respected in that team. He is probably the most respected. He's definitely the most respected now in that squad. And whether you like it or not, the manager needs to lean on the top boys. You do. You need to lean on your top guys in the squad. And Granit Xhaka is definitely one of them. Do I forgive him for what he done? No. I stick to my guns. I'm not going to change that. But am I impressed with how he's playing and what he's doing? You damn right I am, Soph. You're damn right I am. I am impressed the way he's playing. And at the end of the day, if he's pulling that red shirt on Soph with that cannon on, I've got to back what he's doing. If he's doing the business, and he's been doing the business, I can't deny that.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Listen, Kev, everyone deserves, some people say not second chances or third chances. You know, it's if it works for our team, like you've said and I've said, and the Arsenal win, you go with it. You roll with it. And clearly, he's someone that has the respect and the voice, the ear, sorry, of this squad. Right. Kev, real quick, some quick fire questions for you from Lynn. Soph and Kev, should we bring in a midfielder and not get a winger and use a new young Brazilian as the comp for Saka?
Yeah, we can do. If there was one player to bring in, I'd bring in a central midfielder. If there was only one we could bring in, because I think we got enough cover. We know Smith Rowe could play there, etc. Marquinhos could do a job there. Vieira could play there. So I think if we have to, we could get away with it. But it's that central midfield spot. If one of our central midfielders get hurt,
we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because Sambi's attitude on All or Nothing was the only player, to be honest with you, and I've really respected and stood by Sambi. That was not cool, but I get it. Kev, I don't think this is going to come back to bite us, do you? Chelsea buying Aubameyang? Why would it when you have Jesus up front?
Hey, listen, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. He's not our player anymore. He's a Barcelona player. If Barcelona choose to sell him, fine. Let him go to Chelsea. We could see we are a better team now with Jesus at the top.
More complete.
We're much more rounded. We've got a striker who can put the ball in the net. He can hold it up. He can do so many things that Aubameyang couldn't do, that Lacazette couldn't do, and do the stuff that they do. So I think we're not in a bad place right now. So I don't mind Oba going. But, listen, I wish him well. I've got no animosity towards Oba. He's been a great
Good luck to the
servant.
boy.
Yeah, he's been a great servant to Arsenal. It just didn't work out in the end because times were changing and no player is bigger than the Arsenal.
As it should be always. Kev, Paul's not bothered about signing Tielemans. He says that we need competition for Partey, but that person isn't Tielemans. What do you think about that?
Yeah, look, you could say that. We know it all depends. If Partey gets injured, El Neni can come in and do a job in there. He can do a job. But I think with who we've got at the top end of the pitch now, we need more firepower. We need more creativity because that's the way we play now. Our midfielders are gonna get in the box more. So whoever's the holding one, he's gonna be the sitter, but we're gonna need more creativity going forward. So I don't think Mikel Arteta's that bothered about a replacement for Thomas Partey. I think he wants competition for the likes of Granit Xhaka. Because the amount of times Granit Xhaka gets in the box, imagine that's a Tielemans.
Who can score more?
Who can score more, who's probably he can pick a pass better than Granit Xhaka. That's what we're looking at now.
Clifford, I love the Highbury Squad. We love you too. Thank you so much for that. Tielemans ain't ready for Arsenal. I don't think we need him.
Don Juan, why would you say Tielemans ain't ready for Arsenal? Why would you say that? He's been a top player in the Premier League for quite a while now. Really good. Leicester were doing bits more than us for I think last season was the first time we finished above them for about 5 seasons, isn't it? Something like that.
Okay, so 470 of you on a summer night on a Friday night. For those listening on replay, thanks for joining. Those listening on our audio platforms, iTunes, Acast, and Spotify, thank you for tuning in. Here's one that will get everyone rolled up from Nick. Have a gut feeling we'll win the league. Not delusional, not sorry.
Nick, do you know what, Nick? I love the confidence, and we would all want it. We would all love, let's be honest, we would all love it if we done it this season. I just don't think we're strong enough yet. Get a few more bodies in, and then we see where we go. Because you know what? The fixtures are winnable. They're going to be tough. Let's not get it twisted. They're going to be tough, but they're winnable. So if we could get a lot of points on the board to start with, Nick, you just never know, Nick.
Cairo says, honestly, this channel is pure Arsenal intelligence. We absolutely
Thanks,
love
Cairo.
that.
Appreciate that.
One from Raul, Kev. Super Kev, if Arteta fails to get Champions League this season, should we get rid of him?
Raul, I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of it's going to depend on how the team perform through the season. If we just miss, oh my God, Sophie, I'm coming off. I'm getting off here.
It's a problem.
I'm getting off.
Got more points from me.
I'm telling you, got more points than Man United and Liverpool put together there. How do you know if we're challenging Soph and we just miss out on stuff? I can't see the hierarchy. They've backed him all this way, and it seems like we're progressing. We're getting closer. I think they will stick with him. But if it goes horribly wrong and it just, we get to that stage again and can't get over the line, Soph, they may look at it. They may look at it and say, listen, here we are. Last season we didn't do it. We're back to and we still can't do it. That will be a tough one. But I think with a couple more players, Soph, I think this team's ready to get the Champions League.
I have a feeling that at this point, Kev, where we've played a couple games and we've been on a pre-season tour and he's got the team together and they've gelled, do you think they want to bring in another body at this point? Do you think that he's got the message that doesn't matter, even if it's a last minute think, here you go?
Because you see, you always want to strengthen from a position of strength, Soph. You're in the movie business, Soph. You've got a blockbuster movie. It's a lot better to have 4 stars in the blockbuster movie than 3. Because the marketing, you can market it even better with 4, can't you? It's great. We've got stars, but we need key stars. The quality that we go for next must be quality. If we go for 1 or 2 players, we've got to go for real quality who they can come in and, do you know what, Soph? They could come in and start learning a little bit from the bench. Come on for 20 minutes because the team's already functional. So we bring them on 20 minutes and we get a look at their quality. And then there's going to come a time where Europa League comes around, they start a game, and then, they start to feel it. And then all of a sudden, our squad's super strong.
This is why I'm in agreement with you. Because of that wide position, even though Pepe's leaving, Neto will end up being a lot of money. Pino will end up being a lot of money. You've got Emil Smith-Rowe, you've got Vieira, you've got Marquinhos. I would put all my eggs in the midfield basket. That right back position, you've got Cedric, you've got Ben White, you've got Tomiyasu, then you've got Ben who can step in if Gabriel or, God forbid, William Saliba is injured. At that left back position now, you've got Tierney, you've got Zinchenko, and of course you've got Tommy who can slot into that position. I think you're 100 gazillion% right that the midfield, if you're going to put your dollars in a basket towards the end of the season, that is the position. Desperate times, we've seen what happened in that midfield position, Kev, towards the end of the season.
Yeah, we failed miserably, Soph, didn't we? We failed miserably. And you know the other thing, Soph? Why the manager played Granit Xhaka at fullback? He plays him at fullback because we got nobody to do we got nobody Granit Xhaka, to me, looks like he would say, I'll play there because he's committed to win. He won't be saying, I ain't playing fullback, Gaffer. I'm staying in the midfield because that's going to weaken us. I think he's one of these guys. You play me there, I'll play there. No problem. He's got that type of attitude. I think he fancies himself as a player. So it doesn't matter where you play me. I'll do a job. Now, we won't see Granit Xhaka anywhere near a fullback spot because we've got Zinchenko. Do you know what I mean? And Tierney. So, round pegs, round holes.
Yeah. One for you here, Kev. A lot of people have asked this, and I kind of asked you, and you explained it a little bit. A question: how could good teams exploit the position that Zinchenko takes up in midfield? That was one of the things we talked about. Like, are you going to do that against Liverpool or City? Are you going to allow Xhaka that freedom, Kev? Are you going to?
Well, you got to ask them questions as well. The key is, Sophie, who dominates the ball? Whoever dominates the ball dictates. That's why Liverpool get Robinson and Trent Alexander-Arnold up the pitch so high because what do? They press the ball, they dominate the ball, they keep winning the ball back, and you go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. That's why their fullbacks can go up. They're like wingers. But the moment you see them play against Man City and Man City dominate the ball, all of a sudden you see them back because they can't be too high or else the runners will just kill them. The runners will kill them. So for us, and we're not a Man City, but we kind of play in a similar way to the way Man City want to play. If we dominate the ball, we're the ones who have to ask the opposition questions. They have to worry about us. But if we're being dominated, we have to kind of sit in. We have to sit in. Against the Liverpool, you sit deeper. Maybe not so much now because Mane's not there, although Diaz is a problem because he's a dribbling ability. But he's not a Mane. He's not a burner like Mane, who would just, one movement, he's over the top and he's away from your new score. I think Diaz likes the ball to feet and is a dribbler.
Yeah.
Obviously, on the other side, Salah can do that. But I'd rather be dealing with one burner than two.
Yeah. And let's be honest, Mane was a master of the dark arts as well.
Oh, physical, strong, tough, quick. And his physicality, put his foot in the tough games. Look how many times he should have been sent off against us, Soph.
Well, look, we've been going for an hour and 22 minutes.
Soph, how many likes have we got?
We got 500 in live chat right now. Chief Like Officer Tammy, please report. Please report on
if it's
how
over
many
250.
Likes.
If it's over 250 right now, we can go for another 7 minutes, right?
You heard him.
Let's see. If it's over half.
You heard him. Kev, a lot of people are asking. Kev said we'll finish third. It was his prediction at the beginning of the season for those of you who is asking. Troy's asking what youth has Arteta brought through. Emery brought in Emile Smith-Rowe, Saka and Martinelli to the first team in a season and a bit. Arteta has had 3 and brought 0 through. The Patino train seems to have come to a grand halt. Thank you, Bonzo. We're at 262? No, we are. They made that happen pretty quick.
Hey, well, I like it. I like it. What people have to understand about bringing people through, you see, what would you rather, squaddies? Let me ask you this. Bringing kids through or developing a team to win at the top? Your choice. What would you rather? I know what I'd rather. I'd rather be challenging at the top.
And the truth is, Kev, not everyone is Saka.
But when they ask questions about what's he brought through, you've got to weigh it up. You've got to look at the big picture. It's either you think, okay, we'll bring people through, and then you're going to have to take a lot of pain for bringing them through because they're not learned, they're not experienced enough. But if we're the Arsenal, we've been languishing for 17 years like we have some most of the time, so we want to start the Savoy again. We don't want to be doing the Heartbreak Hotel. We want to start the Savoy. We want them Egyptian fine cotton sheets. So, you know, when you get in and you just go, you know, it's just,
I want turn down service.
Exactly. Yeah, I want the duck. I want the duck.
When I eat,
towel
the hanky
on the bed, you know, on the bed and all that turn down service. You can have the chocolates on the that's what I want. That is what I want. I want the big puffy robe and I want everything. You know, but what we have to do, we have to admit, what do we want? Do we want to be up there or do we want to be a Southampton who will bring players through and sell them on? Because that takes time.
I mean, look at Chelsea, right? Everyone talks about their academy players. They're the kings of loan, right, Kev?
Yeah.
Conor Gallagher can't get into the starting lineup there. And he was a superstar for Crystal Palace last season. You know.
Conor Gallagher. Loftus-Cheek's a full England international. Can't get a game. Hudson-Odoi can't get a game.
Mason Mount had to go out on. Emil Smith-Rowe went to Huddersfield to prove himself, and still he's on the bench now. Comes in, dips out.
Exactly. So again, who you bringing through? No. What we've got to do is we've got to nurture the ones who are good enough, and we've got to marry them with better quality. Hey, by the way, could you put that one? Someone said I'm greedy. Well, you could be as greedy as you like. If we want to be up there, Dempsey, you want to be up there, your youngsters have to develop elsewhere. They have to get experience. They have to gain experience elsewhere. That's how we get greedy, because we let other people help develop them.
And Kev, we see the evidence. For example, Nottingham Forest FA Cup. Nottingham Forest were a championship team at the time. I mean, they've bought like 16, 17 players in this off-season.
Because they needed it. They needed it.
The owner, say what you want about him, he's putting his money where his mouth is. And he's like, if we're going to survive in this league, I want to keep this team. We're not going down. I will buy.
So, I think that Forest now have spent more than Arsenal.
They've spent more than second. Yeah, they've spent more.
No, I think after signing
the Wolves player.
Player.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think they've spent more than us.
Yeah.
Squaddies, tell me if I'm wrong. I might be just wrong.
No, they have.
Million. I think they have. They've gone over.
And a lot of people are putting this in too. Patino loaned, injured. This is the thing. They're fragile, man.
Well, I think he's gone back up there because I think it's not as bad as first thought, which is we thought it was a season-ending one because he went over in the QPR game, which they won. He played pretty well. But again, when you're playing first team football for Arsenal, you don't get the luxury of learning on the job most of the time. Smith-Rowe and Saka have been blessed. You know, we mentioned at the top of the show, Sophie, about timing. The timing for Saka and Smith-Rowe has been perfect. Because there's been a bit of transition, and next minute Arteta's come in, he's realised how good they are and they can cut it. And Martinelli, and he said, right, okay, Martinelli, we're going to try and develop you as quickly as we can. We've had to rely on Saka for a couple of seasons to carry. Smith-Rowe done a great job last season. But even then, we couldn't get over the line because we weren't strong enough, we weren't good enough. And they're asking to put kids in? Come on.
And I understand, I understand Utkash here asking about plays like Lang from Bruges and stuff like that. But also, Utkash, I think what we've done this season that is really important, and have we learned lessons from the Pepes of the world and the Genduzis, and the Kolasinaches and, the Socrates. We've brought in 2 proven Premier League players that have had an immediate impact on the side. And not only two Premier League players, but two Premier League players who are playing at the highest level in Zinchenko and Jesus, and they're still young. And I think that's the difference. The recruitment, I think, is improved since last summer to this summer.
Mhm.
Maybe the bodies that we've brought in are not enough. But Kev, I would rather us go after another Premier League player. I mean, Neto's not as experienced as the others, but to have played in the league, you say all the time, it's a totally different ball game.
Yeah. You know, you're not having to adjust as much. So you maybe adjust to the system and how you want to play, but you're not adjusting to the league because he knows how to play in the league. That's really important.
Uh, talented, but full of hot air and a punk
A problem.
role. Come
Raul is a
on.
problem.
You
He's
don't
a
it's not just
problem.
about talent on the pitch, it's about attitude. And clearly we had terrible attitudes across multiple players.
Yeah.
And, with all the criticism I have of Arteta enjoying kind of his dictatorship role, having young players, he's molded them in his image and that's what he's doing.
Mm.
But the caveat to that is you have to bring in
Gotta win.
experience.
Yeah, you got to bring in experience and win.
Right. All right, 500 of you in live chat. It's been a fantastic show. Thanks to Super Kev for jumping in as the surprise this evening. It's kind of Kev says hybrid.
South.
Oh, time out. Yeah. Oh, let's get rid
Bournemouth,
of Bournemouth.
Arsenal prediction.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, Bournemouth versus Arsenal. Thank you. This is, I mean, that's why he's here.
Telepathic.
Telepathic. Kev, Bournemouth v Arsenal. This is, if you're going to progress, if you're going to take process to progress, these are the games you cannot lose.
Yeah, you got to win.
You got to win. And you got to win by a margin. I think we'll have one of those dodgy kind of, they'll score and get a little bit of hope, but I'm hoping for a 4-1 this weekend, Super Kev. What about
I'm going to go one less. I'm going to go 3-1. I want a clean sheet, but I'm not sure. But listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm a bit worried about Ramsdale at times. I know he's a great keeper, but I'm a bit worried about him. I need to see him concentrate for the whole 90. If we get a clean sheet, I will be absolutely delighted, let me tell you, Sophie. I would.
If he doesn't get a clean sheet, but the goal conceded is not his fault, and he definitely needs to step up, doesn't he? I mean, if we're gonna, these are the kinds of games where you just got to dominate, and you need your goalkeeper to just be back to where he was. I mean,
back to where you are, yeah. Do the business. Aye, Newman. I'll take that. So I'll take any win. Do you know why? Because it's momentum. Because it's momentum for us. Of course, I want Jesus to shine. I want Jesus to get his hat trick that he missed last week, because he should have had a hat trick. He was phenomenal. I want to see a flawless performance from our defense, dominate and be dominant. And I want, if Jesus don't get a hat trick, I want Saka to cause them all sorts of problems. I want Saka to score. I want Jesus to score, and I want Martinez to score. That's if Jesus don't get a hat trick. I want the front three to get one each. If Jesus doesn't get his hat trick.
Right, Kev wants Rambo to have a much better game, and he needs to improve. Concentrated game. He wants Jesus to get the hat trick that he deserved last week. Martinelli as well. Saka needs to have a better game than he did last week, Kev.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of assists from this guy would be good.
Would be beautiful.
You know what I fancy, Kev? I fancy this guy getting a goal from a set piece.
Ooh.
Think about them apples.
You know what? Him or Gabriel, we don't mind that, do we? We don't. We like centre halves who chip in. That's what we do like.
Oh, the other Gabriel. Okay, sure, fine. How about these two? Yeah, why not? We'll take it.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff from Super Kevin Campbell. Thanks to every single one of you who tuned in today. We really appreciate it. A nice little surprise. Didn't think Kev was going to make it. It's kind of a Kev says with a twist this evening.
Twist it. Because it's a funky twist, yeah.
It's a funky Friday twist, Super
Funky
Kev.
Friday twist.
Oh my goodness, another 3 points would be great. Would be lovely. Kev, why don't you take us out? By the way, before you do, don't forget to go grab your tickets for the Gooners v Cancer event in London. Tom Canton, James Benj, I don't pronounce his last name right. Myself, Harry Simiu on the panel for Gooners v Cancer, going to be raising a lot of money talking about the Arsenal. Go to gvclive.com and check that out. Of course, visit our friend No Laguna AFC Fees Tees. Don't forget that the shop is open and all of the proceeds go to Gooners v Cancer and artists like Ruth Beck as well. So, you know, we're just a bunch of givers here at the Highbury Squad, just a bunch of givers. And the one that gives always his time, and we appreciate is Super Kev. Why don't you take us out?
Do you know what, Sophie? I've got to say, I was on Twitter today and I looked at my stuff, and I've got to say, scene sketches.
Oh my gosh, Francesca. Yeah.
Oh, what a talent. What a talent.
Insane.
I've just got to mention that because our good friend No Laguna, as you know, he knows her. The first time I've ever seen her work, wow, absolutely.
She's been on the show last season, and we showed her Gabby Martinelli, Saka drawings, and Emile Smith Rowe. And I think that was the first ever podcast. Ruth Beck and Scene Sketches. That was the first ever time she appeared on a podcast, both of them. So we are massive supporters of our artists and our artist community.
Fantastic.
She's ridiculously talented, and she's sending me some pics. I asked her so we can show her new stuff. She's done one of Ramsdale that is amazing, really good stuff. So yeah, brilliant stuff, Kev. Well said.
Brilliant.
Why don't you take us out?
Listen, squaddies, it was a bit of a surprise for Sophie, the hostess with the mostest, that I turned up. I've been filming today, but I finished early and luckily got back in time. So that was good. Squaddies, it's always a pleasure to see you. Always a pleasure to be on here with you all. And thanks for giving us the likes. We love it and we appreciate it. Squaddies, remember, tell your loved ones you love them. Look after yourself. And squaddies, we need 3 points tomorrow. So at ease today. At ease, squaddies. At ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.